Hello, and welcome to the Ohio University Career and Leadership Development Center's Job Search and Interviewing Virtual Workshop. Are you clueless about how to find a job or an internship? Do you feel anxious about the interview process? This workshop will help to demystify the job search process and help prepare you for the job interview. We will explore resources to create a job search plan for a successful job and internship search. We will also identify tips for you to be prepared before, during, and after an interview. At the conclusion of this video, you will be able to identify at least 2 resources for an internship or job search, practice using the STAR method to answer interview questions, and understand the professional culture of internship and job interviews. First, let's start by going through the timeline of an average search process to remove any misconceptions you may already have about the internship or job search. How much time do you think the average person spends seeking a job or internship in a week? If you answered anything more than 15 hours, you would be correct. Full-time employees and students should expect to spend 15 hours a week on their active job or internship search, which for some people that may seem like a lot, but in the grand scheme of the full search process, that is not that much time. On average, it takes a person 6 months to 9 months to go through a successful job or internship search from start to finish. For students, the job or internship search should start 2 semesters prior to your ideal timeline for beginning a job or internship. For instance, if you are looking for a summer internship between your second and third year in college, you will want to start getting your documents and research for this type of search started as early as fall semester of your second year. The best way to spend that 15 or more hours a week in an active job or internship search is to stay organized. We are going to spend some time today creating a draft of a plan for you as you begin your job search process, and it all starts with getting organized. First things first, keep detailed, accurate records of all job search activities, especially when applying to multiple jobs. Keep track of these details. It will keep you from accidentally sending in the wrong documents to a job posting or contacting the wrong person for a particular job you have applied. Next, set aside space on your desk or create a folder on your computer for your resources and information. Something as easy as creating a folder on your desktop or external hard drive is a great place to save information on companies and customize resumes and cover letters you have created for different positions. Finally, a great tip is to save and file copies of all correspondence sent and received from employers that have connected with you through your application process. Again, this can be done by creating a separate folder in your email inbox to drag all emails that have been sent back and forth between you and a company or recruiter. For this next activity, you will need to refer to the worksheet that corresponds with this video called Job Search and Interviewing Planning. To set a plan for your job and internship search, you want to first think about the goals you would like to accomplish to get the process started. You can use this worksheet to start this process. By setting goals with due dates, you will stay on track during the search process. You want to make sure that each goal is specific and can be broken down into action steps. Let's look at the first example, and then you can pause this video to fill out the rest of the worksheet with your own goals for your search process. In this example, you can see that this person set a goal to get their resume updated. In order for them to accomplish this goal, they need to do a few smaller action steps like revising their resume and having someone in the CLDC review it for them. For each of their smaller action steps, they also added a deadline to hold themselves accountable. Now it's your turn. Press pause on this video to fill out at least 2 goals you would like to have accomplished to work towards your job and internship search process. Then, break down that larger goal into smaller, manageable goals with deadlines. How does it feel to have the beginning of a plan of action for your job or internship search? Hopefully, you feel that these are actions you can successfully accomplish to begin your search. Some of you may have written one of your goals is to start an online career or industry search process, but you aren't totally sure where to even begin. Let's take a few minutes to go through some resources that might help you accomplish this goal. ONET Online has detailed descriptions of the world of work and is used by job seekers, workforce development and HR professionals, students, researchers, and more. The great thing about this web resource is that you can also use it to learn about different careers and the types of education and experiences you need to acquire to begin a job in a particular sector. Lastly, there is a great search engine at the bottom of every job title you research, and you can look for jobs in a particular industry by location. If you aren't even sure what jobs you can get with a particular major, let alone begin a job search online, you may want to start with, what can I do with this major? From this website, which can be located under the CLDC resources at ohio.edu/career and leadership, click on Majors of Interest to see outlines of common career areas, employers, and strategies designed to maximize career opportunities. Choose Links to find a list of websites that provide additional information. Now that you know about the resources that will help you with first discovering the careers and jobs that are out there, let's look at the better browsers you should use to now do a job or internship search. Handshake will be your key resource in finding information on jobs, employers, workshops, and events that are specific to Ohio University. Here, you can connect with employers seeking Bobcats through online job and internship postings, on campus interviews, career events, and more. LinkedIn has more than 500 million users in over 200 countries and territories. You can use LinkedIn to join groups, network, and find job and internship postings. If you want to know even more in detail about LinkedIn, I recommend you also watch our LinkedIn virtual workshop video to learn the ins and outs of that online platform. There are other broad search engines as well, such as Indeed or Monster. Even Google Jobs is becoming more popular as a broad search engine for position postings. These might be helpful to use to see what's out there, but be cautious of the accuracy of information and job postings on these sites, since they are ad heavy and have been known to be erroneous or delayed in their posting information. Last but certainly not least, using an individual company website can be the most accurate and helpful place to look for job or internship postings. Sometimes these sites are not easy to find and can be buried in a website. We recommend scrolling to the bottom of a company website and look for keywords like careers or phrases like want to work for us somewhere on their different site pages to see if their list of employment opportunities are listed. Did you know that there are ways to even find out about companies that are international, LGBT, racially, and gender friendly? This kind of information can be found on websites like Fast Company, Fortune, and Glassdoor. I will also mention how to make an appointment with a career coach in the CLDC if you want to know more about these opportunities and where to find them. Let's switch gears from the job search to the interview. Once you've accomplished a successful job search, an employer will most likely ask you to participate in an in-person, phone, or virtual interview to find out if you are the ideal candidate for a position. For many, this can be a very anxious and uncomfortable process. But we are going to go through a few different types of interviews and ways you can be better prepared for them when that time does come. A majority of the time, the first type of interview you will have in a search process is a phone interview. Once you have been screened through that process, an employer may ask you to come in for an in-person or group interview with others from the company or organization. The biggest way to prepare for any of these types of interviews is to first start with preparing how you will answer the questions they might ask. Let's go through some of the typical questions you could be asked in an interview and how to be prepared to answer them. Tell me about yourself is the most common interview question that typically comes at the start of all interviews. For this question, give some background to the employer, like where you go to college, what your degree and experiences have been since you were in college, and a couple of your future goals that may pertain to that employer or industry. If you want to practice this answer in more depth, I also recommend you watch the Keys to Networking Success virtual workshop for more tips on answering this question. Other questions you could get might be experience-based questions. These questions are meant to help the employer gauge if your previous experience is relevant to the position. So talk about your most relevant experiences and cite specific examples. Behavioral-based questions are another type of question that can indicate to the employer how you would handle different situations at work. Typically, behavior-based questions begin with, tell me about a time when, give me an example of, or describe a situation in which. Case study questions are also popular in some industries. For these questions, employers might provide you with a case study during an interview and ask you how you would respond or what you would do. These prompts and your answer allow the employer to get an idea of your problem-solving process and your ability to adapt to a given situation. Lastly, you may receive company or industry knowledge-based questions. These questions are meant to let the employer know that you have done your research on them and their company. You can prepare ahead of time for these questions by thoroughly researching the company by reading through their website and looking for information about the company via news outlets or social media pages. Now that you know a little bit about the different types of questions, let's talk a little about how to prepare to answer them. Oftentimes, you can take time to anticipate the type of questions an employer might ask you based on your knowledge of the industry and the work that you would be doing in the job. During this preparation, think about the questions you are likely to be asked and spend time practicing your answers either alone or with a partner. Be concise. Do your best to avoid rambling during an interview. The typical interview answer should not exceed 1 to 2 minutes, so practice timing your answers. Know how your strengths fit with the position and utilize the job description to highlight key strengths the employers will be looking for. You can prepare examples of times that you have shown skills in those areas by thinking back on your past experiences and taking some notes on those experiences. Be specific. It is best to provide specific examples so the employer can visualize your experience and skills in action. We are actually going to work on how to talk about your past experiences in a clear and concise way by using a method called STAR. For this activity, refer to the second worksheet that corresponds with this video called the Job Search and Interviewing STAR Worksheet. The STAR method is a technique to help you articulate your skills during an interview in a clear and concise way. By describing the situation, task, action, and result for a behavior-based question, you can tell a story that is sure to keep the employer interested and help you feel confident in talking about your experiences. Let's practice this method. Choose one of the leadership skills listed in the first column of this worksheet. Once you have chosen a skill, think about a time when you have had to enact this skill to get something done. For example, maybe you have recently been in a group project where you had to communicate with your team and hold them accountable. This could be a great STAR story about interpersonal development or team development. Think about the situation you were in, the task that you had to accomplish as a team, the actions that you took as a team member, and the result after you engaged in those actions. Press pause on this video to fill out at least one of these STAR stories. Thinking through your STAR stories can help you feel more prepared for an interview. You can also take time to meet with someone in person to practice as well. Once you have done some preparation for your interview, you can practice with someone in the CLDC. We currently offer 30-minute coaching sessions for mock interviews, as well as career coaching. to help you prepare for your interviews. I will explain at the end of this video how to schedule those appointments. Last but not least, during an interview, you should not only be putting your best foot forward, but the employer should too. An interview is a time for you to also determine if the position and organization will be a good fit for you. To do this, it is important to always have questions for the interviewer at the end of an interview. These questions will help you determine if your interests and needs will be met by this employer. It's a good idea to prepare 3 to 6 questions to ask the interviewer. You can bring these questions with you, and it is okay to take notes during an interview. There is common misconceptions that you should go into an interview cold turkey with nothing but your wits and a suit, but that is not true. Come with notes, questions, and a writing utensil so you can take notes during the interview. Some examples of questions you could ask an interviewer could relate to the culture of the organization, if there is anything ongoing in terms of training or professional development offered to employees, if there are other things about the job that may not necessarily show up in the job description. You can even ask the interviewer what they like about working for that company or organization. The biggest questions to never ask during the initial phases of an interview are questions about salary or benefits. For every interview, always dress professionally and related to industry standard. For instance, if you are interviewing for a job with a company that has high standards for professional dress, you should equally be dressed accordingly for that interview. If you struggle what to know is best for professional dress, you can also discuss this in a 30-minute appointment with a CLDC coach. Be on time and always arrive to your interview 10 to 15 minutes early. Make sure to build in time for traffic, parking, and bathroom breaks too. Practice your nonverbal skills with a friend, like your handshake. Also, be aware of your other nonverbals, like smiling, posture, and hand gestures. Always say thank you after your interview. It is important to follow up with either handwritten or emailed thank you notes at least 24 hours after your interview to leave a positive, lasting impression. The tone of the thank you note should be formal and professional and should cite specific topics from your interview, as well as confirm your interest in the position. Okay, you're ready to start this job search and interviewing journey. But know that you are not alone, and there are people here to help you. If you would like to speak with a coach in the CLDC to virtually discuss your career and leadership goals and experiences, we are available to have these discussions with you in a 30-minute session. You can schedule these appointments using the Handshake platform. You can log into Handshake at ohio.joinhandshake.com. Once logged in with your Ohio University email and password, click on Career Center on the top bar of the Handshake homepage, and then click on Appointments. We look forward to hearing from you soon, and go Bobcats!